Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. You know how everyone's been talking about the Australian property market?
Mhm.
Well, you specifically asked us to find out which areas are heating up the most right now.
Right.
And we've got some fresh data from realestate.com.au to kind of dig into.
Yeah, we're not just looking at the usual suspects like Sydney or Melbourne.
Right.
Today, we're going beyond the headlines to uncover those hidden gems, those up-and-coming suburbs where things are getting really interesting.
Okay, so think of this as your insider's guide to understanding the Australian property market's pulse. And to do that, we need to talk about a little something called days on market, or DOM for short.
Yes, days on market is a key metric that gives us a snapshot of how quickly properties are selling in a particular area.
Okay.
Essentially, the shorter the DOM, the hotter the market is.
Okay, so if a suburb has a low DOM, that means houses are getting snapped up quickly, high demand, right?
Precisely. Low DOM often indicates strong buyer competition, which can potentially lead to increased prices. It's like trying to find a parking spot at a busy shopping center on the day before Christmas.
Right.
The good spots disappear fast.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. That makes sense. Now, this realestate.com.au article revealed something pretty surprising. Perth is absolutely dominating the list of suburbs with the biggest drops in DOM over the past year.
Yeah, 9 out of the top 10 suburbs are in Perth, which is quite a shift from the traditional focus on the eastern capitals.
Perth? That's unexpected. What's driving this surge in demand over there?
Well, affordability is playing a huge role.
Okay.
Perth's housing market is generally more accessible compared to Sydney or Melbourne, which has attracted a lot of buyers, especially first-time home buyers.
So it's like everyone suddenly discovered this hidden gem and they're rushing to get a piece of the action.
In a way, yes, and the data backs it up.
Yeah.
The article highlights South Lake, a suburb in Perth, where the DOM has plummeted by a massive 78% in just a year.
Wow, 78%. So that means properties are practically flying off the virtual shelves.
Exactly. In South Lake, houses are now selling in an average of 10 days, which is incredibly fast.
10 days. That's less time than it takes me to decide what to have for dinner some nights.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a clear link between affordability and market heat.
Absolutely, and this trend extends beyond Perth.
Okay.
Across Australia, buyers are increasingly seeking value for money, which has led to a surge in demand for more affordable suburbs.
Okay, so it's not just about Perth, it's a nationwide phenomenon.
Yeah.
And this makes sense when you consider the rising cost of living and the changing work landscape. More people are working remotely these days, which gives them the flexibility to live further away from city centers where housing tends to be more expensive.
You've hit the nail on the head. This shift towards affordability is reshaping the Australian property market in a big way, and it's fascinating to see these new hotspots emerge.
It's like the map of the Australian dream is being redrawn right in front of our eyes. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I want to make sure we're all on the same page about what's considered affordable.
Good point. It's all relative, isn't it? What's considered affordable in Sydney is going to be different from what's considered affordable in, say, Adelaide.
Exactly. So when we're talking about affordability, we're looking at it in the context of each specific city or region.
Precisely. And it's not just about the sticker price of a property. We also need to consider things like stamp duty, which can add a significant chunk of money onto the overall cost of buying a home.
Right, those hidden costs can really sneak up on you.
They certainly can, which is why it's crucial for buyers to do their research and factor in all the expenses involved.
Okay, so we've established that affordability is a major driving force in the Australian property market right now.
Yeah.
And we've seen how Perth is leading the charge with its impressive drops in DOM. But what about the other capital cities? Are they experiencing similar trends, or is Perth a unique case study?
Well, while Perth might be stealing the show right now,
Right.
there are fascinating trends emerging in other capital cities as well. For instance, the article mentions Walloon, a suburb in Brisbane.
Walloon, tell me more. What's piquing buyer interest there?
Well, Walloon ticks a lot of boxes for affordability seekers.
Okay.
It's located a bit further out from the Brisbane CBD, which generally translates to lower property prices.
So it's that classic trade-off, a bit further out in exchange for a bit more bang for your buck.
Exactly. And Walloon is becoming increasingly popular with families who are attracted by its more relaxed pace of life, good schools, and that quintessential Queensland charm.
It sounds idyllic. But what about those who still crave the hustle and bustle of city life? Are there any affordable pockets emerging closer to the action?
Absolutely. Even in Sydney, where affordability is often challenged,
Right.
we're seeing shifts towards more accessible suburbs.
Really? I'm curious to hear more about that because Sydney's always had a reputation for being, shall we say, pricey?
It's true. Sydney's median house price is nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
But even there, we're seeing a growing appetite for more affordable options, particularly in the outer suburbs and beyond.
So it seems like this trend of affordability is reshaping the landscape of our cities, pushing people to explore new areas and redefine what it means to live in a place like Sydney or Melbourne.
Absolutely. And it's not just about finding a cheaper place to live. It's about reevaluating priorities, considering different lifestyles, and embracing the unique opportunities that each suburb has to offer.
I love that perspective. So it's not just about chasing the cheapest option, it's about finding the best fit for your individual needs and aspirations.
Precisely. And that's what makes this whole deep dive so fascinating.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about bricks and mortar. We're talking about the evolving fabric of Australian society and how people are choosing to live their lives.
It's like we're witnessing a cultural shift in real time, and the property market is a reflection of that.
Exactly. And it's going to be incredibly interesting to see how these trends continue to shape our cities in the years to come.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground so far. We've talked about the importance of days on market as a key indicator of market heat. We've seen how Perth is leading the charge in affordability, and we've started to explore how this trend is playing out in other capital cities like Brisbane and Sydney.
Yeah.
But let's not forget about the rest of Australia.
You're right. Let's take a closer look at what's happening in some of the other capital cities, shall we?
Absolutely, we've got a lot more ground to cover, but first a quick word from our sponsors.
Okay.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break. All right, we are back. Before the break, we were just about to embark on a whirlwind tour of Australia's other hot property markets.
Indeed. And while each city has its own unique flavor, it's fascinating to see how this theme of affordability continues to play out.
So where are we headed next on our virtual property tour?
Let's hop over to Melbourne, where we find Hurstbridge, topping the charts for the most significant drop in DOM.
Hurstbridge. Now, for those of us not intimately familiar with Melbourne's nooks and crannies, what's the story there?
Picture this. A leafy suburb, nestled amidst rolling hills, about an hour's train ride from Melbourne's CBD.
Okay.
Hurstbridge has this charming village atmosphere known for its antique shops, farmers markets, and a strong sense of community.
It sounds like the perfect escape from the hustle and bustle of city life.
Precisely. And that's a big part of its appeal. Hurstbridge offers a taste of rural living while still being within commuting distance to the city, making it a popular choice for families and those seeking a more laid-back lifestyle.
Okay, so Hurstbridge is attracting those who are priced out of Melbourne's inner suburbs, but still want that balance of tranquility and convenience. What about Adelaide? What's hot down there?
Adelaide's hotspot is Morfettville, a suburb renowned for its beautiful parklands and its proximity to the beach.
Morfettville? I'm getting strong outdoor enthusiast vibes already.
You're spot on. Morfettville is a haven for those who love to stay active and enjoy the best of both worlds. Nature walks in the parklands one day, sand between your toes at the beach the next.
It sounds like the perfect blend of relaxation and recreation, and how does affordability factor into the equation there?
Well, Morfettville offers a more affordable entry point into the Adelaide market compared to some of the more established coastal suburbs, which has definitely contributed to its surge in popularity.
It's amazing how this theme of affordability keeps popping up in different ways across the country. It's like buyers are becoming more savvy and strategic, seeking out those hidden gems that offer the best value for their money.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the price tag itself. It's about the lifestyle that affordability unlocks. Whether it's the peace and quiet of Hurstbridge, the outdoor haven of Morfettville, or the coastal charm of some of the suburbs we discussed earlier, affordability is opening doors to new possibilities for Australian home buyers.
I love that perspective. It's not just about owning a property, it's about owning a piece of the lifestyle you aspire to. Okay, we've covered Melbourne and Adelaide. What other hidden gems are on our list?
But we can't forget about Hobart. Down in Tasmania, Mount Nelson is turning heads.
Mount Nelson. That name has a certain ring to it, like it belongs on a postcard or something.
You're not wrong. Mount Nelson is known for its breathtaking panoramic views of Hobart, the Derwent River, and the surrounding mountains.
Wow, talk about $1 million view.
Exactly. And for a long time, Mount Nelson was considered an exclusive enclave, home to some of Hobart's most prestigious properties.
But now it's becoming more accessible.
In a way, yes. While Mount Nelson is still considered a premium suburb, there are pockets that offer more affordable options compared to its hilltop mansions.
So it's like getting a taste of the high life without the astronomical price tag.
Precisely. And that's attracting a new wave of buyers who are drawn to its unique combination of exclusivity, natural beauty, and a touch of history.
It sounds like Mount Nelson offers a little something for everyone. Stunning views, a touch of prestige, and even a glimpse into Hobart's past.
Absolutely. And it's a prime example of how even in a market driven by affordability, there's always room for those unique suburbs that offer something truly special.
Okay, we've covered Hobart, but what about the nation's capital, Canberra? Where's the heat concentrated there?
In Canberra, Waniasa is making waves.
Waniasa, okay. Now tell me more about this suburb that's captured Canberra's attention.
Waniasa is located in Canberra's south, known for its spacious blocks, established gardens, and a real sense of community spirit.
It sounds like the perfect place to put down roots and embrace that suburban dream.
Exactly. And what's interesting about Waniasa is its appeal to a wide range of demographics. Families, young professionals, even downsizers who are looking for a change of pace.
So it's not just a one-size-fits-all suburb, it caters to a variety of lifestyles.
Precisely. And that's reflected in its diverse housing options, ranging from charming brick homes to modern townhouses.
It sounds like Waniasa has a little something for everyone, regardless of their stage in life or their preferred living space.
Absolutely. And that versatility, combined with its relative affordability compared to some of Canberra's inner suburbs, is fueling its popularity.
It's fascinating to see how each city has its own unique set of drivers influencing the property market. But this theme of affordability just keeps weaving its way through the narrative.
It certainly does. It's the common thread that connects these seemingly disparate suburbs across the country.
Okay, we've covered quite a bit of ground. Melbourne, Adelaide, Hobart, Canberra. I'm starting to feel like a seasoned property expert myself.
You're well on your way. But we've still got one more stop on our whirlwind tour, Darwin.
Darwin. The top end, the gateway to the outback. What hidden gem awaits us there?
In Darwin, all eyes are on Coconut Grove.
Coconut Grove. Now that name conjures up images of tropical breezes, palm trees swaying in the wind. Am I on the right track?
You're spot on. Coconut Grove is a coastal suburb known for its laid-back tropical vibe, its proximity to the beach, and its stunning sunsets over the Arafura Sea.
It sounds like paradise found. But how does it stack up in terms of affordability?
Coconut Grove offers a relatively affordable entry point into the Darwin market, especially compared to some of the more established beachfront suburbs.
So it's an opportunity to experience that coveted tropical lifestyle without breaking the bank.
Exactly. And it's attracting a mix of buyers, from young families to retirees who are drawn to its relaxed pace of life and its strong sense of community.
It's amazing how this theme of community keeps coming up, no matter where we go in Australia. It seems like finding a place where you feel connected to your neighbors is just as important as finding a house that ticks all the boxes.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's not just about bricks and mortar. It's about finding a place where you feel a sense of belonging.
Okay, we've traversed the country, from Perth in the west to Darwin in the north, uncovering hidden gems and exploring the evolving definition of the Australian dream.
And through it all, we've seen how affordability is reshaping the property landscape, driving demand for suburbs that offer a unique blend of lifestyle, value, and a sense of community.
It's been an eye-opening journey, but before we get too caught up in the excitement of these hot markets, I think it's important to take a step back and consider the bigger picture.
You're absolutely right. While it's exciting to see these suburbs thriving, it's crucial for potential buyers and sellers to approach the market with a healthy dose of caution and careful consideration.
So what are some of the key takeaways our listeners should keep in mind as they navigate this ever-changing property landscape?
Well, first of all, it's important to remember that the property market is cyclical.
Right.
What's hot today might not be so hot tomorrow.
So don't make any rash decisions based solely on what everyone else is doing.
Exactly. It's crucial to do your research, understand your own financial situation, and make decisions that align with your long-term goals.
So it's like finding the right pair of shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't buy a pair just because they're trendy if they don't fit your feet properly.
I love that analogy. It's about finding the right fit for your individual needs and circumstances.
Okay, do your research, understand your finances, and don't follow the crowd blindly. What other words of wisdom do you have for our listeners?
It's also important to be realistic about your budget. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of property hunting and start looking at properties that are beyond your means.
So it's like going out to dinner. You check the menu prices before you order to avoid any surprises when the bill arrives.
Precisely. Before you start seriously looking at properties, get pre-approval for a mortgage so you know exactly how much you can borrow.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like having a budget in mind before you go shopping.
Yeah.
Okay, so be realistic about your budget, get pre-approval for a mortgage, anything else.
Another crucial tip is to think long term.
Okay.
Are you looking for a property that you can grow into, or are you planning on staying put for a few years and then moving on?
So it's not just about finding a place to live today, it's about anticipating your future needs.
Exactly. Consider things like proximity to schools, parks, public transport, and even your workplace,
Yeah.
especially if you're not planning on working remotely forever.
Yeah, those are all important factors that can impact your quality of life in the long run. It's like playing chess. You need to think several moves ahead to anticipate your opponent's strategy.
Absolutely. And in the game of property, those strategic moves can make all the difference.
Okay, so we've talked about doing your research, being realistic about your budget, thinking long term. Any final words of advice for our listeners before we wrap things up?
Don't be afraid to seek professional advice.
Okay.
Whether it's a financial advisor, a mortgage broker, or a buyer's advocate, these experts can provide invaluable guidance and support throughout your property journey.
It's like having a Sherpa guide you up Mount Everest. They've been there before, they know the terrain, and they can help you navigate all the challenges along the way.
Exactly. Don't underestimate the value of experience and expertise when it comes to making such a significant financial decision.
Well, there you have it, folks, a crash course in navigating the Australian property market, complete with expert insights and practical tips.
And remember, whether you're a seasoned investor or a first-time buyer, the key is to stay informed, stay focused, and never stop learning.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And on that note, it's time for us to say goodbye, but not before we leave you with a final thought to ponder.
Okay.
As we've seen today, affordability is a major driving force in the Australian property market.
Yeah.
But it's not just about finding the cheapest option, it's about finding the best value for your money and the best fit for your lifestyle. And as the landscape of our cities continues to evolve, who knows what hidden gems we'll uncover next.
That's the beauty of this market, isn't it? There's always something new to discover, always a new opportunity waiting just around the corner.
So keep exploring, keep asking questions, and most importantly, keep diving deep. Until next time.
Happy house hunting.